Yeah, so you're listening to Lord Friendly, Kris Takahashi and Alice Bell.
Hi guys! I died.
Yeah, you're still alive. You're still with us.
Somehow, in the spirit of Easter, as we are recording this on Good Friday, I died. And now I am about to be resurrected.
Is that what this
And
is?
that was potentially the most sacrilegious thing that I've ever said on this podcast, and I'm someone who talks about religious cannibalism for a living, so you know.
I wouldn't know. I'm not the most religious person, or at all, so.
No, I'm not religious at all. I just really like reading about it. It's very fun. Last Easter, I baked an interpretation of my favourite Old English poem, which basically has the cross bleeding from its side and complaining about all the tortures that it's faced.
That sounds lovely.
I baked a cake. It was great. Love a good cake. It's been a couple of weeks, y'all. It's been a couple of weeks.
You were sick as well, weren't you, for a little while?
I'm still kind of sick. I'm still a bit bunged up. You know, the regular whole student lethargy thing, but you'll probably hear me sniffling over the next two podcasts, and that's because we're recording them one after another.
Me too. I woke up too early this morning, and I didn't realize how cold it was, and so now I have a head cold.
Cold?
It's
in California?
In the mornings, it's colder than it is in the usual time I wake up. Like, I woke up at like 5:50 in the morning for some reason. I don't know why.
Fucking hell. I did think that you were online a bit early today.
Yeah. And
normally you're only just stumbling online like, hi.
Yeah, it was really weird. Like, I woke up early, and then because it was so cold, my body wasn't used to it, so now I have a cold. So it's just, yeah, that's great.
Oh,
I'm sure people care about that, but anyways.
Do you get day nurse over there? Day nurse is what I've been doping up on, and it is fantastic.
No. I mean, I just got it. It like literally happened like a few hours ago, so I haven't really thought about remedies at the moment. I should try that.
Literally, I've just... Right, okay, so you need to look out for something with paracetamol.
Sounds fancy.
Pseudoephedrine and
Isn't that what they use to make meth? Pseudo? I seem to recall Aaron Paul saying that. We need some pseudo.
Maybe. Am I taking meth? Right, let's read the ingredients on this. One sec, I'm intrigued now.
Just Google pseudo and meth or something.
It has the percentages of things in it somewhere. Each 30 milliliters of medicine contains 1,000 milligrams of paracetamol, pseudoephedrine hydrochloride, 60 milligrams, Volcadine, 10 milligrams, sucrose, 5%, ethanol, yeah boy, I'm getting crunk on my cold medicine, liquid glucose, sodium, and glycerol.
Oh.
Yeah, I was reading the leaflet,
O's.
and apparently, it contains the same amount of alcohol as like a third of a glass of beer.
Oh, nice.
So, you know, just getting crunk on a Friday night with my day nurse.
Yeah, you could get like drunk off like cough syrup and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, if you drank enough.
And I'm sure you're doing your part to drink enough, right?
But then you'd probably like die of paracetamol overdose.
Oh,
so you know.
would you? That doesn't sound like it'd be fun.
It's a thing.
It's not the fun kind of drunk.
No, it's more like, oh, my whole body's gone. I don't know what paracetamol overdose looks like. Is it just like going completely numb and your heart slowing down and stopping? I don't know.
There should be a Google commercial for that.
I'm not a doctor.
Because they have those Google commercials now where there's like people like trying to think of everyday things and they're like, ask Google. What?
Do they?
Yeah, they have them over here. So it's like, what does this kind of overdose look like? Well, ask Google. What does body decomposition look like? Ask Google.
I mean, you can ask Google. You can ask a mortician, actually.
Oh, that's cheap.
Plug for my new favourite YouTube channel.
Oh, is that what you're doing? You're like looking up dead bodies decomposing?
No, I'm watching videos by Ask a Mortician, who does excellent videos on the decomposition of corpses. But she doesn't actually show images. She just takes you through the stages, takes you through the different kinds of embalming, shows you some famous corpses, talks a lot about incorruptibility, which is actually an essay topic of mine for this year, and all that jazz.
I see. It's a lot of jazz.
Jazz hands.
If jazz was actually about looking up dead bodies and stuff like that, I think more people would be interested in listening to it.
It's goth jazz.
Okay.
New jazz.
Gaz. Or gauze.
What's like a famous like jazz tune? Give me a jazz tune and I'll come up with some lyrics for it.
You're asking me? I have no idea.
Do you like jazz?
That's not... Yeah. Mostly jazz doesn't have lyrics, does it? It's like, it's like Miles Davis or yeah. Coltrane or something. Yes, the Mario theme is jazz, exactly.
And I see the body decomposing in the body farms.
So what were we talking about this week? You're supposed to talk about something besides Mario Jazz Fusion.
Well, over the last 2 days, the new trailer for probably our favourite show of 2017 came out, Westworld.
That's right.
It's got an amazing cover of Nirvana's heart-shaped box in it, which Kris got very confused by when I said it's got a heart-shaped box in it.
I thought there was actually a box that was shaped like a heart, but it was just
like
Nirvana.
It would make sense for a series like Westworld. I mean, they did have that whole thing about the wooden maze last time.
That's an old song. It's like from the 90s. Was grunge era.
Yeah. Good bit of Nirvana.
I'm trying to think. Is the soundtrack mostly, is it like 90s songs or what? Because I remember some Radiohead in there as well.
Yeah, they had Radiohead, they had Rolling Stones. I'm sure they had Amy Winehouse at one point.
Oh, that's right. Which is also pretty old. It's like the early 2000s, I'm not sure.
Yeah, early 2000s. But yeah, so the thing that caught my eye about this trailer is that it seems like we're still going to be getting the flashbacks kind of thing. You know how we had the weird timeline thing last series with the Man in Black and the younger Man in Black, who I can't remember, but who was in Black Mirror. I can't remember his actual name anymore. It's been a while. But he appeared in the trailer, the younger version of the Man in Black, so it appears that we're still going to be having flashbacks and flash forwards. And I think, and this is just because I have a bit of knowledge about the background of Westworld a bit more now, I think we might be going into other parks.
Oh, well, they definitely are going to the Japanese samurai part.
Samurai World!
That'll be interesting.
Which will be really cool.
You get people who wear kimonos and stuff like that, so it's kind of cool.
Yeah. And we had Maeve in the trailer being badass as shit, and she's still my girl crush.
Yeah, we're definitely going to have flashbacks because that whole Bernard Dolores interview happened in the past, right? So
it had to have.
So we're good.
I'll be interested to see whether they bring Anthony Hopkins back.
In flashbacks?
Again. Yeah. Or do you think that he was just like a one-season appearance?
Yeah,
kind of
I mean, he's such a big name that it's like...
Do you think he was like the Sean Bean?
Yeah, pretty much.
As Sean Bean was to Game of Thrones, Anthony Hopkins is to
you got to sell
Westworld.
the execs on, just like the big names. So you got to say Anthony Hopkins is going to be in this. You can't say it's going to be like the guy who plays Bernard. It's not,
Yeah.
He is a star now, though, but back then.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But like when you're pitching a new big budget series, you have to have a big name behind it. But I cannot wait. I am so fucking hyped. Bear it in mind that I have been saying since the start of this podcast that I am not a fan of westerns. And I know that Westworld isn't strictly a western, but the kind of setting, I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did.
It's more of a sci-fi western.
Yeah, it was honestly like one of my favourite shows of last year. It was way better than Defenders is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I've forgotten Defenders existed altogether. I mean, who knows? You say that now, but maybe they'll go to like a Chinese park and you'll meet like the Immortal Iron Fist or some shit.
Oh god, kill me.
Be a kung fu park.
Played by Loris Tyrell.
And Loris will be there with his chi.
Just fucking kill me. Don't do that to me, Kris.
But yeah, looks good. We'll probably go over it. And it's like episodic, so it's like you could go over once a week and it can be current. It's not like everybody's not going at their own pace. Like that's the thing with Netflix shows.
Speaking of Netflix shows,
Jessica Jones dropped.
New season of Jessica Jones. Now, because everybody's watching at their own pace, and because it's been 2 weeks since it initially dropped, we're kind of bundling up the episodes because we don't want it to feel like a slog like the Defenders did for us.
Yeah, exactly.
So where we covered the Defenders one episode a week.
Well, with the Defenders, at least it sort of made sense because there's only like 7 or 8 episodes, I think.
Yeah.
With this one, there's like...
Whereas Jessica Jones, there's 13.
Oh, God, yeah. That means it's going to be a slow grind.
Yeah, so what we're doing is we're bundling up the episodes into like 3 blocks. So like we'll do 1 to 3, 4 to 6, 6 to 9.
Nice.
I can't do maths clearly. 10 to 12, and then probably a single episode for the finale.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan.
So that's the format. And that'll bring us into April when something's coming out.
Yeah.
Avengers is coming out. Something.
Sure. Why not?
Oh, no.
We're just winging it anyway. So, what do you think about the first 3 episodes?
I feel overall, I don't feel like the first 3 episodes were as gripping as the first 3 episodes of the first season. I feel like that's a fairly uncontroversial statement to make. There's a couple of hooks, but they're not like grabbing you by the lip and like dragging you out of the water. It's just like, oh, these are some mysteries, that's fun.
Yeah, well, the whole novelty of it is gone, obviously, so I think that plays a part in it, because you don't get any of the early, like, setting the scene stuff where we learn about Jessica, we learn about her job and what she does and her personality. Like, that's already a known thing, so it's never going to really have that in terms of just, like, how it starts off, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I think there's no clarity in... It's a much more difficult series to get into because there's no clear figure to... Like, it's a much more complex series to get into. There's no clear figure to kind of, like, project any animosity onto. Like,
yeah, there's no villain.
In the first... Yeah, within the first episode, Kilgrave was hinted towards, and we got to see Jessica's reaction to him, and then second episode we only saw the back of him in 3, but we had a clear figure to kind of be like, right, this is the antagonist, this is who we're working against, whereas this one, it feels a lot more internal.
Yeah, like Jessica's clearly the antagonist
battling herself.
And the protagonist.
She's battling herself more than any real antagonistic figure. Like, there's a lot of nasty characters in here. Like, in the second episode, we were introduced to the guy who sexually exploited Trish for the middling stages of her career when she was still a kid.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, that's a figure of animosity, but he's not something that Jessica can't handle.
Right.
And, yes, he's a figure of revulsion, but he's not Kilgrave, basically.
I was pretty revolted by the Wizard, but...
Yeah. The Wizard was quite cool. I felt really bad for him. It was a nice little first episode twist. And I feel like that was a good hook for the first episode. Like, oh, someone's killing supers, but they're not going to kill any of the big bad supers in the rest of the universe, are they? Otherwise they'd have got Luke Cage and shit.
I think it was just the CGI that threw me off. I was just like, oh, okay, so this is how it's going to be.
It was literally like Aardman Animations type, just taking a picture here and there.
Yeah,
just like layering them on top of the... I understand that they don't have the same special effects budget as the movies, but still...
It's like a flip book, right? Yeah.
He's like a really toned down version of Quicksilver.
Oh, that's right.
With shittier special effects.
He did have more of a personality than Quicksilver, from what I remember.
I know, Quicksilver was a bit jokey.
Oh, that's true.
I haven't watched...
I got him confused
Avengers
with
2
the
in a
other
while.
Silver guy. There's like multiple Silver guys. I was thinking of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, he's... is he Fantastic Four?
He's the guy who goes on a surfboard, like flying around planets, and he's just like all silver. He's like the most monochrome toned superhero there.
He's just chrome.
Yeah, he's just silver, and he surfs. It's all in the name.
Fair. Yeah, no. I quite like the Wizard. He had a stupid fucking name, but I quite liked him.
Yeah.
I like the way that they set him up to be this absolutely crazy, paranoid client who was just immediately rejected because he seemed like he was rambling. He seemed like he was, you know, pulling shit out of his arse and being paranoid. And I feel like that was in part helped by the casting.
Yeah.
Like, a guy with super speed, you expect him to be, like, lean and tall and built like the Flash.
Yeah.
Instead of having the Wiz's physique, which I feel kind of fed into the audience's doubt of him and Jessica's doubt of him. So when it did turn out that, oh, hey, yeah, no, he actually has superpowers, it's like, oh, shit.
But wasn't
Bollocks.
it kind of like a little too obvious that they were sort of playing it the other way? Like, he almost looked like to me, it was like they're setting you up for that twist. It seemed like a little bit on the nose. I don't know.
No, I think when he was paired with the crazy woman who thought that lizard people were a thing, like, it could have easily gone the other way.
Yeah,
This whole series could have been about fighting lizard people.
You think they chose correctly? I don't know.
Or they could have gone down the route of investigating the woman's missing adopted son.
No, see, that would have been boring. I'm sorry. It would have been too plain.
Like, any of those could have been a somewhat legitimate path to go down.
I think we should have went down the
But I
lizard
feel like the
path.
Wizards was the most unexpected of them, aside from lizard people.
We should have went with the lizard people. I think that would have been great.
That would have been so much fun. It wouldn't have been Jessica Jones, but it would have been fun.
What else happened? We had the private eye guy.
Beast manages to kill Wizard, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, private eye guy, can't remember his name.
I think it was Chang.
He tries to acquisition Jessica Jones's alias investigations into his own company.
Yeah, is that a thing? Like, are there really big private eye firms like that have their corporate offices and things like that? It just seems like something that, I don't know, that isn't like a common job.
I don't know. I don't think so, but like, surely the whole thing about being a private eye is that you're kind of private, you know? You kind of
It's right in the name,
again. You don't have a big billboard saying, "Hey, by the way."
Well, you have to advertise, don't you?
Yeah, but you don't have big, fancy, expensive offices and shit.
Yeah. That's where I agree but I don't think they're just that successful, right? They're not like that. They don't have that kind of ceiling.
Moolah. No.
In terms of like how lucrative you could get. Like, you could be a successful private eye. You could like make a living off of it. I'm sure there's a lot of people.
But you couldn't own a skyscraper office in New York City.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna happen. I find Jessica's apartment to be very unrealistic in New York City. Never mind a private eye agency being able to, you know, have prime, beautiful offices and make best friends with, like, famous people and shit.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Still not the most unrealistic thing of the first 3 episodes. I think that goes to the guy who sells nice ass to Jessica and manages to get laid through that incredible line that he gave.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
God.
the kind of shit women shouldn't be encouraging.
Yeah.
Like, come on, at least get them to be a little bit creative, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I guess they're trying to show how deep Jessica's gone into like her despair of drinking and sex, that she would have sex with this
just anything to like numb it, kind of thing.
Seriously, do like guys say that at a bar? I mean,
yeah,
and think it works.
It doesn't work. I've had personal story time. I've been groped in bars. I've been felt up in clubs.
Oh God.
And I've been catcalled and shit like that. And the most it's gonna get you is me saying, "You fucking what?" I get angry.
I don't get why a guy would think that. It seems kind of obvious. I don't know.
At least compliment my eyes first. And then go, "Oh, you've got beautiful eyes. Let me buy you a drink." One shot down, I'll be down for anything. But first, nah. Avoid the tits, avoid the ass.
Yeah.
Avoid the gropey in the grass. What? I've had a couple of beers, can you tell?
Okay. You're rhyming.
What
was
can
a
I
very
say?
nice
I'm a
poem.
poet.
Yeah.
I am a poet.
What else happened these first 3 episodes? I forget.
Trish dressed up as her classic children's character Patsy. Trish has been doing her own investigations into Jessica's origins, a plotline that was seeded in the last 2 episodes of the first season with IBH. So basically Trish dresses up as Patsy and sings at a kid's birthday party for these parents so that she can get some secret files from the hospital. And she finds out that Jessica has 20 days missing from her medical file between the day of the accident where her parents and her brother were killed and when she was put into the hospital. So there's just 20 days missing from her record. And this is due to IBH. So Trish surmises that IBH did something to her in those 20 days, and that's how she got superpowers.
Is it IBH or IGH? Does it matter?
I think
guess
it's IBH.
Okay.
think.
It doesn't matter. It could be ZCN for all we know.
Zipper Cox Network, what?
Yes. Which is where Trisha's new boyfriend works. I mean, there's a whole bunch of like new dudes in this episode.
Yeah.
There's him. There's the super that we get introduced to. But I mean, I guess all of these sort of plot lines are sort of just kind of revolving around Trish and Jessica's like narrative arc. Like Jessica's like battling internal demons, and then Trish is too in the same way. Like in a different way, but she's actually kind of descending into darkness, whereas Jessica is trying to like lift herself out of it or something.
Yeah. Trish has had a taste in the last 3 episodes of the first season. Having taken Simpson's pills, she had a taste of what Jessica feels like. And she's chasing that feeling. She wants to feel useful and special, whereas Jessica is trying to raise herself out of that kind of environment. But on that note, speaking of Simpson, makes a brief cameo in episode 2 after Trish films the pervy director confessing to the fact that he had sex with an underage girl.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Yeah.
And she manages to tie him up, and Simpson gets killed after saying that they're being chased by a monster.
A meat face.
Which is fun. Yeah, a meat-faced monster. Jess beats up a guy in a wheelchair at a funeral.
Yeah, there's a lot of just a lot of people dying. Like
Simpson died.
Wizard died.
Discount Captain America.
Yeah. What else happened?
Malcolm is having a lot of sex.
Oh, that's right.
He's got Tinder. I never thought in all my days of watching Jessica Jones that Malcolm would be the character that is most like me.
Are you also a recovering addict?
I'm a recovering Tinder addict. I'm a recovering day nurse addict.
It's almost the same thing as whatever Malcolm was taking.
What else happened? Trish is still in contact with her mum.
Oh, that's right.
And her mum's being very emotionally manipulative, which is something that I feel the Jessica Jones writers do incredibly well. They are very good at writing emotional and psychological manipulation, which is an area that a lot of writers will fall short on, and they'll just fall onto cajoling and threats and things like that, whereas I feel, especially with Trisha's mum, they're very good at illustrating how she manages to manipulate Trish and how she manages to project herself in a certain way to manipulate those around Trish.
Yeah,
I feel like that's the real strength of the writing.
Yeah, the show in general there's a lot of like psychological stuff going on. It's not like your traditional superhero show where it's mostly just punching, kicking,
the Defenders didn't work.
and chi. And using your chi to heal people. So like if somebody gets hurt, it's usually emotionally rather than physically.
Yeah.
So like if the Iron Fist is there, what is he gonna do? He can't use his chi to heal like people's emotions. He can you know. So he's useless, just like in real life. But Jessica Jones isn't. I mean, even though Jessica isn't the most like emotionally aware person, she's still, when it comes to her friends, she's there for her friends, and she's supportive in other ways.
And she's
so.
willing to learn and grow.
Yeah.
In her own way.
So yeah,
how does this episode end? One sec. How does episode 3 end? I forget.
Don't they go on a trip or something? I remember they were in a car or in a van or something. They like stole a car. Oh, they took Simpson's car, right?
Yeah, they took Simpson's car and they buried Simpson on a beach where Jessica used to go for her childhood because there's a lot of murders connected to Jessica at the minute and they don't need another body on their hands.
Yeah.
And, Trish puts out a call to meet a doctor who their leads have taken them to on the radio.
Mm-hmm. And
she receives a call, and Jess refuses to let her go and meet the doctor. So instead, Jess goes and she calls TMZ about a potential breakup between Trish and her ZCM boyfriend. And it turns out that this doctor isn't the doctor. And it turns out that she's the big bad and she's got superpowers.
Yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Wait,
end of episode 3.
Was that episode 4?
No, that was episode 3.
Okay. I'm confused. Okay, so we're introduced to our quote-unquote villain of the story at the end.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm sort of looking forward to the next, what is it, 12 episodes? I forget.
Oh god, I don't know. Oh, also there's this subplot with the super, and he basically refuses to say that Jess wasn't at a crime scene, and he tries to evict Jess.
Yeah, you can tell that they're gonna
like
hook up in the beginning because the attractive guy is moving in, the new guy, they make it a point.
Attractive girl.
Yeah, it's just
Boy meets girl, girl meets fridge.
And they don't get along at first, and it's kind of like, okay, so
it's like fan fiction 101. Let's face it.
We know they're hooking up at some point.
Oh yeah.
And not just because we just saw them do it. Like one of the episodes.
Oh, we forgot about Hogarth.
Oh right. We can talk about her.
She gets diagnosed with ALS, which is unfortunate, and she decides to vent her frustrations by hiring a load of prostitutes and having a drug party in her house. That was a fun scene.
It seems like a natural reaction when.
To be fair, I don't know what I'd do if I found out that I had a debilitating condition.
Yeah, if you think you're gonna die soon, you kind of just let loose. You kind of let go of your inhibitions. So it seems like a
Jack
natural
hookers,
reaction.
all that jazz.
Yeah. Casino, gambling, hookers, blackjack. On the moon, usually, but anyways. So that about covers these 3 episodes. Stay tuned next week where we cover episodes 3 through 6.
And by next week, we mean in the next 5 minutes.
Yes.
So that was Law Friendly, guys. Thanks for putting up with us disappearing off the face of the earth for a bit. And say goodbye, Kris.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.